very high-end sculpture out here, including Botero.
Let me show you
This
a
is
little
the
bit.
torch of friendship here, with Cuba missing.
Torch of friendship. I'm here with my local expert David Brown today in downtown Miami, and I'm driving right now, so I'm trying to keep control of the vehicle while I'm filming.
On the left-hand side, we see the Freedom Tower. Architect Schultz and Weaver built in 1926 as the Miami News Building, and then the Freedom Tower, because this is where the freedom flights of all the Cubans coming from Cuba were processed. This was the processing center for hundreds of thousands of Cubans. Now it's owned by Miami-Dade College, or used to be called Miami-Dade Community College, and it's used as an art gallery now, and the rest of the college is right there. That's the parking garage, and that red and tan building is building number 3 of the college, and there are 2 other major buildings. Now they also have the Freedom Tower, and this again resembles the Biltmore Hotel in Coral Gables, because it is the same basic architectural look, and it has it's modeled after the Sevilla Bell Tower.
The Giralda.
The Giralda Bell Tower. Yeah, the Giralda Bell Tower in Sevilla, Spain. So we have 2 buildings that are very similar, modeled after that in Spain. This, the Freedom Tower, and the Biltmore Hotel. Here we have the American Airlines Arena, built in the year 2000, finished, and that's the home of the Miami Heat. Very popular, obviously. Okay, you're going to get in the left lane soon, if you can, when you can.
Now, you have some buildings left from the 1920s. I think the 1920s were a very critical time in Miami, weren't they?
Oh, yes. The 1920s were at the same time prosperous, but at the same time very turbulent. Prosperous because this was still the time of the boom period, when a lot of the buildings went up in the downtown region, like the one that I have in my office. That's 1927.
That's right.
The Ingraham building. But at the same time, you know, you had the Great Depression ahead of us, and you had the flood, the hurricane of 1926. And you see a lot of historical pictures with boats that were wafted onto Biscayne Boulevard, and a lot of people, I think 400 people plus got, killed through that storm.
Wow. That really put a damper on development at that time, right?
Yes, that and the Depression kind of,
coincided
put things to sleep for a while.
Yeah, exactly.
Until the 1930s, and then of course you got, because by that time downtown was already up and running. Coral Gables, the plant City Beautiful was built between 1920 and 1926, and of course George Merrick, the founder of Coral Gables, was very careful in his development. He wanted a lot of vegetation and parks. He wanted a connection to the sea. He had the Gables Waterway that he made, which he called the Venice of the South. In order to create that atmosphere and generate more interest in people wanting to pick out their lot and build their home. Now we're headed west to Overtown.
Overtown, great. And you were saying this is an African-American community?
Yes, the original settlers were those African-Americans that helped to build the railroad. Before 1896, the railroad stopped in basically West Palm Beach, and as the story goes, Julia Tuttle, the mother of Miami, who owned hundreds of acres on the north side of the river, Brickell being on the south side, encouraged Flagler, who's a very wealthy industrialist, went all over the state to develop the state of Florida with big hotels and the railroad. She encouraged him to come down here by really 2 things. One, an orange blossom during the freeze of 1896, showing that Miami did not freeze, because we're further south by about 50, 60 miles than West Palm Beach. And she offered him a couple hundred acres that he could have, and that was, of course, a greater incentive to him. So, together the city really took off at that time, and the city was incorporated in 1896. But most of the people at that time were Flagler's crew, and at that time of segregation, the black community settled right here down this street.
Right here. And is this the street?
Yes, this is one of them, Northwest 2nd.
Northwest 2nd,
Actually,
okay.
we're going to make a right here.
Okay.
Northwest 2nd is really the Broadway of the South because starting in the 1920s all the way up until like the early 60s, before the highway, you know, tore up Overtown, you had all kinds of entertainers. You can go a little bit slow here. This is the Lyric Theater, 1915.
Oh.
And that's that's the only place of performing arts that still remains from that era. Make a left here.
Okay.
All these other corners were filled with other small hotels and nightclubs like the Sir John, the Mary Elizabeth, the Carver Hotel, where people like B.B. King, Sammy Davis Jr., Aretha Franklin came down. Here's the back of the Greater Bethel AME Church with all the beautiful stained glass windows. Here's the Dorsey House and the Ward Rooming House over here. Ahead of us is the historic Mount Zion Missionary Baptist Church.
Okay.
Both of those churches I mentioned, congregation going back to the birth of the city in 1896.
Left or right?
In fact, D.A. Dorsey, make it right here. D.A. Dorsey is named in the cornerstone here of the church. We're going to pull into the church. I think the pastor might be here.
Okay, great.
Look at the community garden on the right.
Oh, nice.
Yes, this
Beautiful.
is, go ahead, make a left here.
Okay.
And here we are in Overtown, where we're going to shop, dine, and explore.
All right, very good. And I'm going to park here, and we'll take it from there.
Okay.